Yo, what's good peeps? As I got hold of a Nintendo Classic Mini for this countdown, I'm going to be taking a look at my personal top 5 Nintendo Classic Mini games, so make sure you keep it locked.
Number 5.
Yo, Mega Man 2 is arguably the best in the series. This game works very well because it has a massive game world, lots of challenges and some very interesting game mechanics. People loved it because it was full of interesting ideas and the gameplay was some of the best out there at the time. Believe it or not, this particular version of the game still holds up very well. It's a true testament to the power of the game and how fun it actually is to begin with. Whilst recording this particular footage, I thought the game was definitely going to be a walk in the park as I'm a lot more older than when I last played this game, and wow, it definitely feels still as hard as I remembered it back in the days, but still a great look that this game is included on this great little system, an all-time classic for me. So all the Mega Man 2 fans out there, it's definitely worth grabbing a Nintendo Classic just for some of these little titles.
Number 4.
Yo, the main reason why this is a cult classic is simple. The battles here are second to none and the quality offered here is very impressive for sure. It's the attention to detail on the quality offered here that makes Punch-Out a great title, but it does bring in front some other neat ideas that are well worth exploring to begin with. The new version on the Nintendo Classic Mini has a few updates and it works amazingly well on the console. Now, keeping it real, just like Mega Man 2, I struggled playing this game after so many years. It definitely goes to show how much of a hardcore gamer you had to be back in the days to master these particular titles, but as hard as it was, you simply couldn't put this down. And definitely for all the boxing fans or all the Nintendo fans in general, know that this game is definitely a classic.
Number 3.
Yo, for me personally, anytime you talk about the original Nintendo console, Double Dragon 2 Revenge is one of those games that I consider an all-time classic and definitely holds a soft spot in my heart. This game is a ton of fun, especially if you got someone to play it with, because it has that awesome co-op feel behind it. Simply put, this game has a very good fighting game feel to it that you just can't find anywhere else nowadays. If you like the idea of playing an action-packed game on a new NES, you definitely have to try this game out. This to me, as I mentioned before, personally holds a soft spot in my heart just because of the fact that me and my cousin spent countless years, let alone hours, trying to complete this game as youngsters. So even hearing the music and playing this game today brings back so many epic memories. I don't know if it's just nostalgia, but this game is actually one of my favorite Double Dragon games of all time. So you could imagine, by seeing this game on the new NES, which only has 30 games available, is definitely quite a big deal for me and is why it sits so high up on my list.
Number 2.
Yo, I could imagine that a lot of people will buy this console only for the fact that the Legend of Zelda is on this. Obviously, there are so many great titles on this console, but considering how impactful Zelda is and just what the title means, is definitely an instant selling point for so many people out there, especially the fans. Yo, to me, the Legend of Zelda on the NES was and still is an iconic game, so being able to relive those childhood memories is definitely well worth your time. Plus, the game does have a few new updates to make it hold up in front of recent updates and challenges. I know many people would argue that this game should be number 1, and at the time of actually writing the list, I did place this game at number 1, but number 1 actually just pipped this just slightly, but definitely an all-time classic and well worth being on this list.
Number 1.
Yo, let's be real peeps, this top 5 countdown list wouldn't be okay without the mention of a Super Mario game, and that's the reason why this game definitely tops the list. Now, before I dive into this, I only really wanted to place one game per franchise, as all 3 Mario games are on this Nintendo Classic, but at the same time, I really chose number 3 because I felt it definitely held a lot of sentiments behind it. Number 1 is obviously a classic, and number 2 is definitely amongst one of my favorite games because that game in particular definitely has a unique feel and style to it. But when looking at the overall experience and just what game had the most impact to me as a youngster, I would have to say for now, and this may change in the future, but Super Mario Bros. 3 was that game that shone the most and is why this tops my list of games on the NES Classic. It's hard to deny that the Mario games, and more specifically Super Mario Bros. 3 for me, were a delight on the old NES, so this new version is perfect if you're a fan of the Mario and his adventures. To me, the graphics hold up relatively nicely and the overall gaming experience offered here is nice. So if you want to get the new Nintendo Classic Mini, you do need to consider playing this game too. All in all, considering Considering that some of these games are closing in on 30 years is definitely remarkable, and for those who remember playing some of these games in the late 80s or early 90s can relate just how epic it is to see the Nintendo classics hit our shelves. Anyway peeps, this was certainly a quick countdown video looking at my 5 favourite games on the NES Classic Mini. As mentioned during the countdown, there are only 30 games available on this console, but some real gems in there. The only game that I thought I was missing that could have been included was a game such as Turtles, which was definitely a classic for me back in the days and would have definitely been a nice addition. But all in all, this console has nostalgia written all over it. I know most people probably emulate some of these retro games nowadays, but just seeing a miniature version of one of the greatest consoles is certainly something special. Anyway peeps, do hit that like button if you enjoyed the video, and also don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and also let me know what your favorite 5 classic or NES Classic Mini games are from the 30 that are included. And until next urban gameplay video, we definitely say peace out peeps.
Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button for more cool urban gameplay videos.